Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about the importance of checking in on each other and also why it is so important to just be kind. So let's get started. We can all be guilty of judging or laughing at people that we know when they behave or say something that is a bit odd or out of character. However, what we need to do is think to ourselves, are these people okay? They are behaving or saying things that is not quite right. I'm going to share my first story about a senior staff nurse who came into the ward into handover in her pyjamas. We were having handover from the night shift and she came into the office in full pyjamas and dressing gown. Now, if you tell that story, it does sound very funny. And on the surface, it was quite funny because it was like she was playing a joke. So nurses did start laughing, and in fact, the nurse in question also laughed. We carried on with handover, and afterwards the nurse went to get changed and then came back to me in her uniform. So I spoke to her and just basically asked, why did you do that? What was wrong? She said she'd slept in that morning and didn't see that there was any harm in coming in her pyjamas because she had to get changed anyway. After a long conversation, this nurse divulged to me that actually she'd been feeling quite anxious recently and quite stressed, and it was a struggle at times to get herself to work. Now, she was being seen by her GP and was on antidepressants. She said that she felt quite isolated at work and therefore she was purposely acting and saying things that were totally out of character. I felt quite guilty about that because staff had come to me and said, oh, this nurse is saying this or she's behaving in a strange way. So I totally missed that as a manager, and it was only by taking the time to sit and talk to the nurse that I was able to find out this really important information. And in hindsight, we should have all been checking in with this nurse. Don't laugh at someone when they're acting strangely. Think, are they okay? So that was that nurse, and thankfully, after a few months, she was able to get herself back on track. This was a senior nurse who was really well respected previously, and therefore it was quite sad that she'd had to go through this difficult period in her life. The second scenario I want to talk about is about a nurse who was an amazing nurse. She gave outstanding patient care. She was knowledgeable, she was conscientious, and she gave perfect care to her patients. The patients loved her. The problem was, actually, the team didn't love her. This nurse was a bit unkempt, she was a bit scruffy, and therefore the team she was working in at the time, they were quite young nurses who took a lot of pride in their appearance, and therefore immediately this nurse didn't seem to fit in. On one shift, one of the parents came to me and said that she felt there was a real atmosphere on the ward between the nurses. When I took the time to speak to this parent, she said it was all around one nurse, and this was this nurse that didn't actually fit in with the team. So I pulled the team together because there was no way that teamwork and atmospheres on the ward should affect patient experience. So it was really important as a manager to pull the team together immediately and try and understand and work through what was going on. So I did come down hard on the team, and I said it was unacceptable. I then spent time with this particular nurse, and it was then that she became very upset. She basically told me that she'd had an alcohol problem and she'd recently joined the AA and was trying to work through it. This all made sense then, because she was quite often late for work. She was a bit unkempt. I wouldn't say you could smell alcohol or anything like that, but there was something not quite right with her. Anyway, this was obviously quite a serious thing that I had to then escalate to HR and my manager, and obviously refer her to occupational health. So we made a robust plan, and I had daily, every time she was on shift, I would have a catch up with her. There was some other bits that I won't go into, but so daily catch-ups, and also we had an action plan. So it was about her timekeeping. And like I said, she was a really conscientious nurse and she absolutely loved her job. So what's quite sad in this case is that these other nurses, they clearly thought this nurse didn't fit in. She didn't fit in with that team. And they judged her. They didn't take the time to get to know her. And therefore, that could have caused more problems with this nurse. So the reason I wanted to highlight these two scenarios is that as a manager, it is really important for you to have regular check-ins with your staff. If someone comes to you and says that so-and-so is behaving strangely, or they're doing this, saying that, think to yourself, is that nurse okay? Are your colleagues okay? We need to stop judging people and actually take the time to listen to them, and more importantly, just be kind. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.